What is up, YouTube? Great to see y'all again. In this video, we're going to be switching out our old intake manifold we were running last year to our new revised intake manifold we're going to be running this year. We're going to get into it here, what we're doing and why we're doing it in a second. And yeah, I hope y'all enjoy this video. So, right here, we have got a cheap Amazon or eBay special, just general carbureted 5-liter 302 intake manifold, but it has injector ports for us. So we're going to put our fuel rails on there with our fuel injectors, and then we've just got this big old Edelbrock intake elbow and our baby little 75mm throttle body on there for a little baby 306. This is our old trick flow intake, which, you know, it's a great intake for like a street car, but as you can see here, we have got about 65.5 feet of intake runner. Intake comes up, boom, around there, loops around about half a dozen thousand times, then comes out through here. Now what we're thinking is that is kind of the reason why she's always been laying over on the top end, doesn't have a lot of top end power. Great for bottom end power. That's why she pulls so hard and snaps so many dang little axles. But this guy should help us. We've always had problems with the nitrous system on this thing, running a fogger nozzle way back. We ran our fogger nozzle way back up here, so all the nitrous has to flow all the way through this whole intake, get down. Now we're going to be going to just a general carbureted nitrous plate there, putting it in between this elbow and intake. As you can see here, we're quite a bit taller than our old intake, so I'm a little worried about the hood fitment, but we're gonna find out in a bit here. As you can see, I've already got it off, so we'll be able to test that pretty quick. But anyways, enough blabbering. Nitrous system's gonna work better, should have way better top end power, should be just all minty. So why don't we get this stuff slapped on here, guys? Well, guys, we're off to a bad start. That ain't gonna work. No bueno. So we've got a couple options here. Obviously, if we go a bunch lower coming out this way, I'm going to hit my distributor. I have my distributor at the shop. I'll grab it and we can test fit. So probably going to have to come out over here. Still not going to help us right now, but we have a shorter elbow at the shop that comes out a lot lower. So I'm hoping if I use that one and then flip this sideways so the IAC is not on top, maybe, and come over here, maybe we can make something work. So I'm going to get that other elbow and play around with some stuff, see what we can do. Before we get too carried away here, we got to do some port work on our new intake manifold. So we're going to go to the shop and do some port work on it. So let's go do that right now. Alright guys, well, we got two done here. It's hard to tell with the Sharpie mark because the Sharpie mark is actually how big we're going, but I don't know if you can see how much bigger that is, but it's quite a bit. Right? Yeah, they're just a quick and dirty, obviously. Like you can see, it's definitely not the smoothest, but it is what it is. We just got to get back in there and just kind of clean that up a bit. Just our gouge marks in the back. But other than that, we're going to call that good there because, you know, you could spend 50 hours doing this little intake, right? I'm already an hour and a half in. We got two done. Not too bad. So I'm going to bang these other two off here quick. Alright guys, we got this side really close, looking pretty good. Gonna leave it there for now and move on to our next side and come back for the finishing touches later, but it looks way better. Let's take a look at the other side. So there's this side, right? And there's our other side. Alright guys, well I think we've got all our porting done in our intake here. Just a quick and dirty, you know the deal. Because you can see how dirty this side of the intake is anyway, so it doesn't have to be anything too perfect. Just a little quick and dirty. Back at the shop at home here, dumping rain. Got our distributor in just for mocking up. Got our other elbow, shorter elbow, clearing valve cover and everything. Everything clears, but we're not going to be able to get a pipe on there. That is just too tight to get a pipe on. So we're going to have to get it over this distributor. Right now it does hit the distributor, so I think we'll have enough room to go. We already have a big spacer in there, but to go with a little more spacer to get it to clear. So we'll have to find another spacer, make a spacer, I think, but let's just mock it up there right now and see if we can actually make that work. Well, this is what it's come to. Can't make anything work with the elbows we have. I could get a different elbow, which would make it shorter here so that we could fit this pipe in. Have to order that, wait for that, spend more money, and I don't think there's a single world where we can make something work over the distributor. So we're just gonna go back to the shop and make an aluminum spacer that will lift that up a bit and just adapt it from this to this. So just a little plate that goes in there, and we can bolt the throttle body onto that. And Bob's your uncle. Sunburn. All right, guys, we're at the shop here, tapping holes. It's about as straight as me, man. Gosh darn. Holy. That's all right. You'll have that on those ghetto builds. And we did our plate that we're mounting our throttle body to. I'll show you guys all this in a bit. Just a quick and dirty. All right, guys. Well, this is what we're looking at here. Not too shabby. Probably going to have it on there like that. It is going to be a little tight around the IAC for our jet changing, but I think there's plenty of room there. I'm just going to have to make a little spacer for the IAC because the bolt holes don't line up currently. Make a spacer for that. I was thinking about having it like this, but then we're going to be in the way of our vacuum port. So I think I honestly like having the throttle cable will be way too tight trying to wrap around here. The throttle cable is going to fit perfect if we run it like that. So I think that's what we're going to do. Just got to go make a spacer for the IAC. Other than that, I think it's going to work. We've got about 4 inches or so of clearance from the hood when it's down. So we're going to have to get a pretty short filter for that if we can even find one. Otherwise, we'll just run her butt naked just like that. So I'm going to pack up for tonight and just go do some editing, but we'll pick this back up another day. And we are back, guys. Time to get this intake bolted down and get all our little nice bits and pieces put on there. And then we get to plumb our nitrous system up, move all our stuff over. Lots of little tinkering, but it's going to be fun. I love this stuff. So let's get to our beauty day out here. right, guys, well, there you have it. That's pretty much how she's gonna look. Got our IAC spacer in there, so the IAC valve fits in here. I can put the throttle body any which way I'd like, but I think this is my best option. So we're worried about being able to service that nitrous fitting, change the jets, but I don't think we'll have any problem. Just a little wrench in there, not a big deal. I just really like having the throttle there, cable just running backwards off that. Our TPS sensor over there, and this is also where all our vacuum ports are, so didn't really want anything kind of getting in the way of that, the throttle or the IAC valve or whatever, right? So pretty happy with that. So now we just got to figure out how much we're going to have to clearance for our distributor, because I know we're going to have to clearance a bunch of stuff to fit the distributor in and get our fuel rails in. This stuff is just mocked up, so we still got to take it all apart, clean it up pretty good, and then bolt it all down fully and whatnot. Mount our nitrous solenoids, throttle cable, and we'll be pretty close. Not too much left to go. I know it looks kind of weird. It's such a small little throttle body. Well, guys, it's been a little while now. As you can see, got the mop chopped. We're out here working on the Fox again. Got quite a bit done here, as you can see. Got our fuel rails on there. Nitrous kit is all plumbed. Just gotta wire it up. All this wiring, clean up this wiring and whatnot. All this is mounted down. Got a little filter on there. Got our throttle cable on there. Looks like as long as I have the distributor kind of sideways like this, we shouldn't have to clearance much, but we'll just see if this works or not. Yeah, hook that all up and then get into the interior and wire some stuff, and then we can flash this baby to life. So let's get to work. All right, guys, we're all ready for our first fire up here. We just finished wrapping up some wiring on the inside. We got a little plate made here for our ignition switch and a start button. Working good. I wanted to put it up here, but I have to make a new box because this box is too small, and then run all the wires up. It would have just been too much work. We're racing in like 5 days, so we got to get on this. Trans brake's all wired now, steering column's all in, so we're pretty much ready to fire up. I got the distributor all synced over here. I got the distributor all synced. It's in there, ready to rip. I think we're all done. Everything's buttoned up. We'll see what happens. It's got oil in it. Hasn't ran in about 8 months. Hasn't ran since Cache Creek, so let's see what happens. Just a lot of air in the fuel system because it's got all new fuel rails and everything on it, so that's why it didn't want to start up. Yeah, that's the first fire with the new intake manifold. Let's see if we can get her up to temp here. Also got to bleed the cooling system still. Definitely gonna have to adjust the idle and everything. We got the new intake on there. We got an IAC spacer and everything in there now. She's not used to it. I just want to make sure we're all good. Here's a bit of smoke over here. Probably just some fluid on the headers. I know the tran's leaking a bit. Let me just grab a flashlight. Yeah, the header's all soaked with transmission oil down there, so she's gonna be smoky. Jess said she saw a backfire out the intake. Okay. Some chips. Try again. I gotta get her to idle here, guys. this when it's warmed up, but I'm just gonna get the idle set close, and then we'll do it again when it's warm. Now we got IAC. See that? Now the IAC valve, this thing, starting to open up to try to get it to idle at our target RPM. So it's at 30%. We want it around 8 to 10% when it's warm. It's not quite hot yet. Give it a little more. Keep that for a bit. Got air in the cooling system. We got 154 degrees there. Nothing on the gauge in there. These mechanical gauges don't work when there's air in it for whatever reason. Water sounds pretty good. Definitely needs a bit of tuning. You can hear her backfiring. Alright guys, he's still popping and farting a bit. I want to make sure the trans brake works. I'm not going to put it on the chip right now. I'm going to play with the tune a bit more till we do that. Let's just see if it works. See if the tire. What is for the gears? Alright guys, well, we got her up and running. Sounds good, running half decent. Trans brake works, transmission's shifting. I think like our best startup after winter like yet. But new intake's awesome, loving it. So let's just change the oil. I'm going to drain the oil out of her, do an oil change on it, get any contaminants out of it while it's warm, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, let's see how this goes. Got one shot at greatness here. Not too shabby. I did drain the front plug. I just didn't film it because it comes out at an angle, so a lot harder to do with one hand. Just held the little bucket up there. It doesn't hold much in the front. Let's drain this filter now and put a new one on there. All right guys, we got some fresh oil in her. We got a timing light on her. Let's fire her back up. See how the restart is. Let's watch this oil pressure here. Oh yeah. I just heard something go flying off the engine, but I think I know what it was. I don't know if that's my first time. I can't remember. First time or what, but definitely haven't done it too many times. I've been close. Socket's gone. Whew. That was on the crankshaft when I fired it up. I heard it fly off. socket went somewhere else. There it is back there. Ooh, baby. Okay, doesn't look like we damaged anything. That's good. Didn't rip a wiring harness out or anything. Man. I'm gonna try the trans brake now, put it on the two-step. Let's see what happens. There we go, trans brake works, two-step works, sounds a little different. Might just have to play with the tune a little bit on that, but still a little few pops and farts here and there, but getting better. Definitely seems like it flashes up faster when you whack the throttle. Throttle whacks are faster, I think.
Oh, I feel the heat coming off of it.
That's gonna do it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. Pretty stoked we got the car running. We still got a few days before our races, so still got lots to do on it. And as a matter of fact, the next thing we're gonna be doing on it in the next video is gonna be putting in this here UPR coil over strut conversion kit to get rid of these big old nasty springs that don't give me any suspension flex whatsoever. And then the coils will be going on these struts now. There's a kit that actually slides down, spacer on there, and all the doodads to put the coils in there so they're coil over. So that's going to be awesome. Definitely going to help a lot with our launching and that kind of stuff. Haven't got any coil overs for the back yet, but those are soon to come. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Tell me what you think of the new intake and stuff down below in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.